Right. So what I wanted to show you was what we mean by 1 point perspective. So if you think in terms of this corridor and somebody's eye line, we're thinking in terms of you can actually see, in fact you can work out where the vanishing point is from this. The reason it's 1 point perspective is because there's one vanishing point. So I'm going to just, in fact I might draw it, and it is going to be rough, but you can start to see how all of these converge to one place. So it doesn't have to be something outdoors, but you can also see this outdoors, and you can see that it's radiating out. See down here as well, and in the middle here we've got this point where everything converges. So therefore this is 1 point perspective, and the eye level would be, or the horizon line would be here. So that's the line that is horizontal, yeah? And it's fairly easy to see on this one, and I'm going to show you another one. So that you often see it like with train lines going down, as an example. I remember seeing something like that at school, or as houses. And the idea of it from the point of view of drawing is that it just helps you to create the realism, the whole idea. So we're going to look at another one. So here we go again. Little bits like there's a curve in there, but generally if you actually look at these buildings, they're all roughly going to be converging in one space. There we go. So we've got a line there, and we've got some other windowsills coming out here, and if we go further up like this is going to all be coming from the same place. Yeah, the angle there is correct. That is a slightly different in height roof, but the angle of the roof, as long as they're flat roofs, and we can see these are flat roofs, it's all going to work. So you can really see how using perspective could help if you're wanting to draw this particular scene. And even here you can see it's straight here and then it curves in. If we look, we can just, I think it will go to there. You can see that there is a curve on it, but you can approximate, and this is where you've got to use a little bit of common sense, because that isn't straight, so it's curved in, but it really helps to guide you. And another thing that's interesting is the fact that you can actually see these boats, although they're going to be slightly different, but you can see as they get further back they are getting much smaller, as are the houses. That's 1 point perspective. And then we've got the Colosseum here, and this is 2 points. So the reason it's 2 point is because we're on the corner of this building like I described before, which means that we can see both sides of the building. And if you look at the converging points, then what we'll actually see is, yes, things are converging, but they'll be converging off the page. You can see all these steps. And there we go. So there's our vanishing point on the one side, but then equally we've got a vanishing point coming off this side as well. So if you look for where there's some straight lines going on, here we go, and the vanishing point here is going, it's going much further off the page. And what you'll find is the convergence here is, I mean, it's way out of the frame, which is what will happen sometimes. So that's going right off, and it'll be right off out there, the second vanishing point. So here we go. We have, I'm going to roughly reproduce this just to give you an idea. So we're going to put a line in the centre, and this is just, everything's going to be merging to 1 point in the centre. And what you can do to find an angle, if you had, and this works the same if you're actually looking at something in reality as opposed to from a photo, then what we can do is we need to find that line. I can simply slide it, and that's going to be our line, the line of the houses. You see what I'm doing? I'm just sliding, I'm not moving the angle is the same. And you can literally do this. So if you were looking at something upright, you can literally put your pencil at the angle and then move it to your picture plane. So you can do that whilst you're outside. Just go. And you can start to build up a picture of how to actually draw something. So if I do some upright lines, and I'm not going to do this precisely. So this first building, that it goes a bit higher, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to just show you that that window will be formed. The lines going down are just straight, but the lines going across, if they are horizontal lines, will always go at the angle of the vanishing point. This window is going to be slightly bigger than this window, and as it goes further back, they're all going to become slightly straight lines up, slightly bigger as it comes forward rather. Yeah. And then we'll have some windows roughly there. It's a little bit wider, it's got some shutters, and I'm just moving that out of the way so you can see where the vanishing point is. Yeah, and there's our shutters. Now I know the pathway is not all along, but that sort of is the edge of the path. And then we know that it does actually go down there, and you've got your boats. See your boats? I'll just show you roughly. Yeah, so they're going to that. See, it gives you a rough idea, and you don't have to draw all of these lines in, not at all. It just sort of gives you an idea of where these boats are. So if I start, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's 6 boats, and the front boat is going to be quite large, and so even knowing that the shadows are there and stuff, it does help you to start putting things in. So I'm not trying to be precise, I'm just trying to show you how you can start to get a rough idea of where things are. And so instead of just drawing our boxes, this is starting to draw these boats, and you can start to see how it's all going to come together. Now notice these are going across here, and this is where you have to start observing, but you can see that as it goes further back, they're smaller, and yeah, and even the tops of those have got a vanishing point line. Yeah, you can be much more precise with it. So there we go, one side of our street.